We've all seen hashtags catch fire online, but what happens when a hashtag truly ignites a global movement? Well, today we're going to unpack the data from the first 72 hours of hashtag #MeToo to see what it can tell us. What were these initial posts really about? Who was driving the whole conversation? And how on earth did it evolve so incredibly fast?
Okay, so to really get the explosion that was about to happen, you have to understand the backdrop. It's October 2017, and the news is just completely dominated by these bombshell accusations against the Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. So this very specific, very high-profile scandal, it created the cultural kindling for the absolute firestorm that was about to erupt online.
And then this happened. This was the spark. On Sunday, October 15th, the actress Alyssa Milano sent out this tweet. And look how simple it is. It's a direct, really vulnerable invitation. It's not a demand. It wasn't asking for graphic stories, just a quiet request for two small words. Me too.
So how does that one simple invitation transform into this unprecedented worldwide call to action? Well, the initial goal was all about tackling a huge problem, making an invisible issue visible by showing its sheer, undeniable scale.
The whole purpose right at the start was really just this. It wasn't about pointing fingers or debating policy, not at first anyway. The idea was that by just sharing those two words together, people could finally paint a picture of the true, absolutely staggering size of this problem.
And this is such a crucial point. This quote from actress Polly Perrette really captures it. Almost instantly, the conversation moved way beyond the one guy in the headlines. It became about a pattern of behavior that so many people recognize from their own lives, in their own jobs, totally separate from Hollywood.
All right, let's get into the data and see how this thing turned into a digital flood. Because the response wasn't just big, it was immediate and almost unbelievably massive. It was a genuine tidal wave of shared experience, and we can actually quantify it.
So what does the data really tell us about the response? Let's break down the numbers, because the scale here is, well, it's absolutely staggering. Get this. On Facebook alone, in just the first 24 hours, the movement generated over 12 million posts, comments, and reactions. 12 million. Let that sink in. That's not just a trend. That's a massive, collective event unfolding on one single platform in one day. And over on Twitter, the numbers were just as explosive. The data shows the hashtag was tweeted nearly 500,000 times in that same 24-hour window. I mean, that is just a constant, rolling cascade of voices, each one adding to the true scope of the problem. Now, this is what I find really fascinating: the velocity. At its peak, the hashtag was being used 4 times every single second. Just imagine that. Every tick of the clock, 4 more people were adding their voice, their "me too," to this growing chorus. It was just this relentless, undeniable digital protest. But look, these staggering numbers, they only answer the how many question. To really understand what these posts were telling us, we have to look at the individual voices behind them. Because behind every single one of those posts was a person, a story. A lot of the posts were simple and direct, just like this one from actress Rosario Dawson. The power was in the collective. It wasn't about detailing trauma for everyone to see, but about standing in solidarity and just saying, hey, this happened to me too. And it was driven by thousands and thousands of people who weren't celebrities at all. This post from a user named Morgan Raquel really shows the deep, lasting personal impact being shared. These are the posts that gave a glimpse into the real, long-term pain that people carry, which made the abstract numbers feel deeply personal. So we see the scale, we see the personal stories. And that brings us to another key question. Who are the influencers? Who was amplifying this message and turning a viral moment into a sustained conversation? Well, when you analyze the data from those first 72 hours, 3 distinct groups really stand out as the primary engines of the conversation. You've got celebrities, the media, and political figures.
It was, without a doubt, supercharged by celebrities. Of course, the initial tweet came from Alyssa Milano, but she was so quickly joined by other big names like Rosario Dawson, Lady Gaga, and Hope Solo. Their involvement gave the hashtag immediate visibility and credibility, and it essentially gave millions of others permission to join in. The media didn't just report on this. They amplified it, big time. By the very next day, major outlets like the New York Times were running headlines just like this.
And this was critical. It's what transformed #MeToo from just a trending topic into a legitimate global news story that a much, much wider audience now had to confront. And then politicians started to weigh in. People like Senator Dianne Feinstein began using the hashtag. And that connected all those raw, personal stories of the movement directly to the world of policy and workplace reform. This showed the conversation was already demanding real, actual structural change. And that's such a crucial part of this 72-hour story. Because almost as quickly as the movement found this massive voice, the conversation itself started to get way more complex, more nuanced, and yeah, even critical of itself. You can pretty much map the evolution of the whole dialogue in just these first 3 days. It starts here, at step 1, just revealing the sheer scale of the problem. But it moves with incredible speed to step 2, asking, okay, what's next? And then it goes right into step 3, broadening the entire discussion to include these vital questions about race, about who is being heard, and what political action should follow. This slide right here captures one of the first major critiques to surface perfectly. On one hand, you have the undeniable power of giving people a space to affirm their experiences. But on the other, this critical question emerged almost immediately. Whose experiences are we actually centering? The concern was that the media spotlight was focusing maybe too heavily on the stories of white, often famous, women. And this quote from just the 3rd day of the movement absolutely nails that pivot. Awareness is not enough. This became a kind of rallying cry. The conversation was shifting from the catharsis of just sharing to a direct demand for concrete action. It was like awareness was the spark, but people were already demanding to know, what's the plan to put out the fire? So in just 3 days, we see the entire arc. We see what the posts told us, a story of immense hidden pain. We see who the influencers were, this powerful coalition of stars, journalists, and politicians. And we see the key issues evolve from simple solidarity to these really complex critiques and demands for change. The first 72 hours proved that a hashtag could reveal a problem, but it left us all with a much harder question that we're still grappling with today. What does it actually take to build a solution?